Yerp, this perp back with another video, and I just got done watching Who Invited Them. This is a brand new movie that just dropped on Shudder. This is a horror movie. This is a home invasion sprinkled with a bit of comedy. Not too much comedy. It's not like slapstick or anything like that. It's just, you'll see what I mean when you watch it. Man, if you don't have Shudder, I just don't know what to tell you at this point. It's like $5-6 a month. It's like, it's a no-brainer if you're a horror fan. I'm always gonna say that whenever I'm like talking about anything Shudder related. It's dope. But I really like this movie. Now let me talk about the beginning. So in the beginning we get introduced to Margo and Adam, their son, and their son is starting to have kind of visions, or at least nightmares of them dying. But they kind of look at it as, oh, it's just him kind of just trying to get used to the new house. And they have this housewarming party, and this is where things get really interesting. So you have our main characters, Adam and Margo, and Margo is a very different type of character, or she is a completely different personality than Adam. Adam tries too hard to try to impress people, and even their so-called friends kind of see that, and they don't really like Adam. So that was pretty funny to kind of see how that played out. But there are some uninvited guests that show up here, and that's why I said this is a very different type of home invasion. You know, they show up to this party, and not only Margo and Adam don't recognize them, but the other friends don't recognize them as well. You know what I'm saying? They kind of get a weird vibe from them. So the party goes on. Adam's trying to do his best to just like be a good host. But obviously there's people there that aren't their real friends. They don't even know Adam's real name. They call him Alan, which is hilarious. Everybody leaves, and then that's where things start to get really interesting as the two uninvited guests kind of stick around, you know what I'm saying? And they are automatically on the offense. Like, what are you guys doing, still doing here? Get out of our house. But then they come up with this bullshit story of them being the neighbors and stuff like that, and them trying to kind of welcome them to the neighborhood, so to speak. But this is where things get really fascinating, as they kind of like ease back a little bit, and they're not so aggressive towards them. And they, once they kind of fall for the story of them being the neighbors, they just like, all right, let's have a drink, let's have some like a good time. And it does start off as a good time, you know what I'm saying? They're sitting there drinking, having little lines of coke and stuff. But what's so fascinating about these two uninvited guests that go by the name of Tom and Sasha is that they are really good at manipulating, because from the very start they just kind of slowly start to manipulate these two, talking about Adam and Margo. And it's some of the most fascinating stuff that I've seen. And it's interesting because they go from like having a good time with each other to kind of splitting up. You have Adam and Tom in one room, and then you have Margo and Sasha talking in another. You know, but what Tom and Adam talk about with one another is really interesting, and kind of gives you a hint of what the big twist is at the end of this film that gets revealed. I don't know how I like that. I feel like they could have, I don't know. There's a couple twists, I would say, in this movie. I'm not going to spoil any of them. I want y'all to go check this out for yourself. And then on the other side, you have, like I said, Margo and Sasha talking, and Sasha's kind of doing her own type of manipulation to kind of get these two to fight one another. You know what I'm saying? And I really like it. It's a very slow burn. I think this movie is only like an hour and 20 minutes, but it felt a little bit longer. Not to say that's necessarily a bad thing, because I think it's pretty effective, you know, the way that it's paced. There's another side story of their friend that's kind of watching over their kid. I don't know really the point in that storyline. You could have kind of cut that all out. And also the whole Dylan thing, I feel like that was just kind of giving them foreshadowing, like some type of foreshadowing for what's to come in the movie. But overall, I think this was a really dope watch. You know what I'm saying? I have to be as vague as possible, because if you get too much information, you can kind of put two and two together with this movie. I still think you could find a lot of enjoyment out of it. I would just avoid the trailer and just go into it blind. You know, I really thought that the twist was like there's some type of vampires or something like that. I thought it was going to be something dumb like that, but it ended up being more entertaining than I thought. You know, you're always going to be just glued to the screen because you're just wondering like what's going to happen. There are some little jump scares here and there. Like I said, the humor isn't too overblown. I think it's the right amount of humor to make you kind of like, all right, this was pretty good, that was pretty witty, that's pretty funny. You know what I'm saying? My only issues, like I said, is like some characters I just don't think needed to really have like a secondary story. Just thinking about it, but then when you think about what happens at the end, it kind of just was like, okay, I could see that. But let me know how you guys feel about this if you've seen it. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.